Well, I've got to say, Neil, you look very striking with your floppy ears.
Thanks.
So, if you notice, my ears are quite
Perky.
erect.
Perky.
Erect. So, we're going to dig deep into the Asian parks today.
Yeah,
So-
welcome back to part 2.
Yes, we had to break this up into 2 parts because we was going to do it just in one. However, we discovered we can talk for hours and hours.
Yeah.
So we're sat here with our floppy hat on and our perky hat on because it's all about the Asian parks. So my name's Richard Wills.
My name's Neil Wilms.
Welcome to the Wilms Way.
Hooray!
Did I get it right this
You
time?
did, yeah, well done.
Well done, Richard.
I taught him well.
Yeah, he threatened me before the
10 years
show.
ago.
So we're going to dig deep into the parks like we said we would, part 2. Any of you who's watching, is Neil just look like a twat, but he loves it. So,
Explain why we've got these on, though.
we've got these on because in one of the episodes we did talk about the lady who actually gave me one of the hats because
I can't see your tail.
because I collect. Yes, I've got a tail on the back of my hat. I was after collecting the Peter Pan Lost Boys hats. So we sat here in the Lost Boys hats. The only place you could buy the Lost Boys hats was in the Asian parks. So to celebrate the Asian parks, we're wearing hats.
We won't be wearing them for long.
And I look a twat in a hat.
Should we
But
take them off?
I did wear it for the park, and we've got photos to prove that.
We did, and I have another little story because I was trying to find them earlier on when I was getting the hats out of the storage bag. I actually bought 2 little key rings of the characters that these hats are based on and wore them on my
Your bag.
bag
Yes.
as we were walking round.
Yes,
thought
you
that was
did.
cute.
You did.
Can't stop moving my head. Sorry, it's coming off.
He thought it was there to represent us. So.
Yes, it's off.
So the first park we went to after we'd done the American parks and the European park of obviously Disneyland Paris, we went to Hong Kong.
Yes.
So let's get into it then. So we went to Hong Kong and we went to Hong Kong Disneyland and we stayed in an amazing hotel. Where did we stay?
We stayed in the Toy Story Hotel.
And guess who? Oh my God, I was so excited. Guess who was on reception behind the counter?
Well, they weren't on reception. We just managed to time
Don't
it.
spoil it for me again. Next, you're going to tell me they didn't talk to me.
No, we managed to time it at the same time that Jessie and Woody were on their way past. And Woody, playing around because he's a toy and being silly, he went behind the check-in desk
And started checking
started
people
helping
in.
to check people in.
Although he was causing more mischief than checking in.
He was.
And then he spotted my trainers.
He did.
And he loved my trainers. I had some custom-made Nike Air Force, and I had one that were hand-painted. One was Woody, and one was Buzz.
Yes.
And he loved them. He was excited when he saw them, and I was excited when I saw him and Jesse. And there was just there. And the Toy Story Hotel, wow. The theming.
Yeah, even to stand outside and look at the hotel, it just looks like building blocks.
Yep.
And it's got the blue sky Toy Story.
Windows
Is it a glass?
everywhere. No, it's a glass front, and they've actually coloured the glass by the looks of it to me.
Yeah, so it looks like the blue sky of Andy's bedroom wallpaper.
Yeah, and then going up to the reception, as you're going up, the benches outside are made of lolly sticks.
Yep. And then the archway over the door is made of wooden building blocks.
Yes. And the gift shop on the outside is a big cardboard box.
Yes.
And it's open and you go in and it actually looks like a giant cardboard box. It's a toy box, obviously.
It is really, really clever. It's cute.
It's one of the best themed hotels out of all the hotels we've been to. I'm not sure when the hotel was built, but obviously Hong Kong Disneyland opened in 2005. At each of the parks we went to in Asia, we actually stayed in the cities, but then we went up to the park, but we checked into the hotels because we wanted to experience getting up early and doing rope drops and getting in early.
Yep.
So Hong Kong was relatively easy to do, and it's a small park. And here's a little fun fact for you. Hong Kong is the only park that has had 2 castles. Because it had
a replica of the California Castle.
Yes. And
because they requested it was the California Castle.
Yes. And then they changed it.
Yes, they changed it because they wanted the castle to represent all of the princesses.
Yes.
And they have 13 spires on the castle, each representing 13 princesses. So I think it's called the Castle of Magical Dreams.
Yes. But They're not all princesses on there because we spotted Tinkerbell.
Yeah, so it's princesses and heroines.
Yes. Well, she's a little bit naughty, ain't she, Tinkerbell?
She's a naughty Tinkerbell.
Anyway, let's move on to the park.
Yes, so when you go to Hong Kong Disneyland, the hotels are 10-15 minute walk away from the park, and they have a really nice promenade bit that takes you from the hotels to the parks by walking. You can get buses, you can get transfers there, but the walking is minimal.
Oh my God, do you remember the morning when we woke up in the hotel to actually go and there was that queue for the bus? And I looked out the window and I goes, what are all these people queuing for?
Oh my God,
and it went all the way around the garden.
Yes.
And there must have been like 1,000 people queuing.
Yeah.
And it was for the bus.
And is that the moment when we decided to walk?
No, we got in the queue.
Oh, we got in the queue.
Yeah, because you said we don't know how far it is. And then we realised it was around the corner.
Right.
However, the buses was super fast and we were in the queue like 10-15 minutes.
Super fast and super often. I think this morning they were more concerned about shipping people in rather than shipping people back.
And we were thinking early entry, getting in early. There won't be many people. And I just opened the windows and it was like a couple of hours before the park opened. And I said to Neil, what are all these people doing?
Well, we know that they like a queue.
Oh.
Because we'll come to that in a second.
Yes, we will.
Wow. Yes. Phenomenal.
Do they like to queue?
Yeah.
Anything else? Right. Let's forget the hotel. We are now in the park.
Okay. So Hong Kong Disneyland is the only Disneyland that has a castle with a background. There are mountains in the background. And the reason for that is because of Chinese culture and feng shui. They have something about earth and sea
and where it's positioned,
the flow. And I think that's why the castle is in front of the mountains with the sea behind it, because feng shui states that is the correct.
However, the mountains in the background of it make it look real.
Yeah, real pretty.
Yeah, and it makes it look stunning because you've got photographs. It's the only one you get where you've got photographs with like scenery, so it actually looks like a castle out in the wild, so to speak.
And also the Hong Kong Disneyland park, when they built it, they requested that it be a replica of the Californian Disneyland, hence why the castle was the small size castle, the same as California. However, a few years later, they then developed it and built an extra part to the castle.
And it's stunning. It's stunning. We stood in front of it, didn't we, for quite a while, and we were just sort of saying...
Oh, it did, yeah.
Wow.
Just the detail in every spire, and the colour represents the princess or the heroine. It has got a little golden decoration on the top that may be a snowflake. It may be the...
Moana's.
The eye of whatever.
Anyway, so we were stood in front of the castle, and we was trying to look where... they'd extended it and where they'd actually put on the new part of the castle, and it was quite difficult to see. They'd done it so well. They'd done it so well, and we was trying to look at California, the castle from California, and it was like, can we see it? Can't we see it? And we struggled, didn't we?
Have to. Well, to be fair, you have to know the castles well to know what you are looking for.
Yes.
To see where
which turret belongs to which and which is new,
and we struggled, which is a good thing.
But they made such a good job of it. It is now a castle in its own right, and it's stunning, absolutely stunning. Is it my favourite castle? You'll have to wait and see for that, because we've actually said which our favourite castles
We've ranked them, yeah.
There was other couple of things there, what we really enjoyed and what we discovered. Obviously, they don't have haunted houses.
Nope. Again, Chinese culture. Yes, so the haunted house that you will find in some of the other Disney parks, Chinese culture doesn't state, well, they don't believe that ghosts are scary. They believe that ghosts or your ancestors are there to guide you and assist you and support you through your life. So being a ghost isn't a scary thing. So they don't have a haunted house because that's not a part of their culture. What they have is Mystic Manor.
Yes, they do. And Mystic Manor, I mean, it was stunning. It was stunning as well, wasn't it? It's a story about a monkey.
Albert.
Albert, We won't spoil it for you if you're actually going, but you must go on Mystic Manor.
Yeah.
It's one of the main rides there.
The special effects in there are brilliant.
Yes, they are. And the monkey's a naughty little monkey.
Yeah, and I also, if I remember correctly, the ride technology... You aren't in a car that is on a static track. You are, again, in one of those vehicles that moves like Ratatouille, like Beauty and the Beast. Yes.
Yeah, like it's floating.
There's also Albert, the naughty monkey character. you can also meet him because
He's
he is
massive.
carried around by a cast member out and about near Mystic Manor. So,
oh my God, yeah, we saw him, didn't we? So we met Albert out and about, and he was with his keeper or
Yep.
someone looking after him.
Yep.
And it is just a fantastic experience. However, what we discovered about the Asian parks was, and we was very, very shocked at, they do the best parades, but Mickey who?
Yeah, Mickey and Minnie started the parade with the rest of the Fab Five
rather than finishing
characters, and they came along on a little train, and there was me and Richard. Ray, Mickey Mouse, hi Mickey, hi Donald, hi Daisy. Yeah, silence.
So understated.
No one was bothered.
Yeah.
All they were waiting for
was Duffy and friends.
Duffy and his girlfriend and his now what is 7 or 8 friends.
Friends, yeah.
Is the whole franchise of Duffy Bear over there is massive.
Yes.
Hong Kong was our very first experience of an Asian park, and I don't think we expected it to be so different to the way that the other parks work in respect of meet and greets, in respect of queuing to meet characters, in respect of queuing to get into shops. We joked about the Toy Story Hotel having a queue, but these guys, you think the English know how to queue.
They're professional.
They are professional waiters.
Professional.
And they have their own little mats set out for the parade. They have their own little standing spaces that you can purchase.
I was just going to say, you can buy the little mats that you sit on and little towels to wipe your head while you're waiting with the sweat.
Yeah, they are so polite and they are so well organized that we were definitely out of place, because we were, expecting to just join the back of a queue to go and meet Donald Duck, and we struggled to get any character meet and greets in these parks because we either turned up too late for it, or there was too many people in the queue, or the queue was too long. It was just
what they did the virtual queues like they do now in Paris, which we was complaining about earlier, but over there it's just a thing to do, and it is easier actually to get the tickets than what it is in Paris.
Yes.
It doesn't close as quick, and it is, I think it opened it like 4 or 5 times through the day.
Yeah, it's not so much of a lottery. You just have to try your luck. If not,
virtual
then you
queue.
wait for the next one to open up, and then if not, you wait for the next one.
And it's just to try and avoid it, because the people over there would queue. The queue for Duffy Bear, because we said, right, we've got to meet this bear. We've got to meet Duffy Bear. And what was the queue? Was it like?
Well, it wasn't actually Duffy Bear that we were queuing for. They had just released a new character called Lena Bell.
Yeah.
And the queue for Lena Bell to meet her, wait for it, 4 hours.
Yeah, it was 4 hours to meet her. And we were like, we are not spending 4 hours when we've only got 2 days in this park.
But we didn't even know who she was.
Well, we found out very quickly.
We learned. I mean, we had to learn very quickly in that park because, even to the point of the rides themselves, they don't have a Big Thunder Mountain.
No.
They don't have a haunted house. All our traditions when we go to Disney, we would head for Thunder Mountain.
But it's Big Grizzly Mountain.
This is what I'm saying. They have got a version of that. Mystic Manor we've already talked about. Big Grizzly
Mountain is their equivalent of
Thunder Mountain.
But it's better.
It is, yeah.
It was really good.
It is a thrill ride.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's fast.
But yeah, I mean, they've got the traditionals like Dumbo. They've got It's a Small World. They've got a Jungle River Cruise, because again it was a replica of the Californian park, but then you have Cinderella's carousel rather than it being
any other carousel,
because I think the other ones are named after someone else. But you've then got the Marvel part where you've got Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Wow. That ride, the technology, that ride was amazing. I think we did that a couple of times because we went on it first, we didn't, what is it, what is this, what's it, it shrinks you down. So you shrunk down in it and everything. It's better than the web slinger, and I really enjoyed the web slinger.
Do I remember it being more of a you fire at things to kind of score points?
Yeah, but
it was like I remember, I might be wrong, but I remember having a device to shoot.
Yes.
With.
Yes.
A laser gun or something like that.
And obviously one of the shows we went to see were Pixar Pals.
Yes.
Because Pixar over there is huge.
Yeah, and the other part that we particularly enjoyed, which we very quickly learned, was they have Duffy and Friends meet and greets, which is actually Duffy and Friends Playhouse. So what they have is a barn that you go in and you can choose which Duffy's character, whether it be him, Shelley Bear, Olumel,
It's a
Cookie
bit like the one
May,
they used to do in Florida, I think it was, where it was like the tent and you go in.
the
and
circus.
the circus, and there was different
There's
characters
Goofy
and
and
you could
Donald on
queue for
one
them.
side,
Yeah, and
Daisy and Minnie on the other.
and it's very much like that, but it was all about the Duffy friends.
Yeah,
Duffy Bear
however,
friends.
the queue was public, but
Yes.
you went in private rooms to have your photos with the characters. No one could
Yeah.
see you interacting with the characters.
Yeah,
You
but-
had your own time with them.
When you actually get in there is still other people who can see you meeting the characters.
Yes.
Where here it is very private. They ask you how many it is. Tell you what I did notice as well. In the queue, people going in, there was dressed up.
Oh, yeah.
But dressed up, the girls was dressed up like they was going to a wedding or a...
I mean, we'll talk about this again because there was another thing at Hong Kong that we noticed that we thought was quite cute, but they are mad on their plush toys.
Yes, they are.
They will carry around. In fact, you can buy like a backpack kind of concept that you put your massive, great big teddy bear into so that it can go on your back. They have huge bags with all the key rings on. You can get bags that you can put your teddy bears in that have got a plastic front that you can just see them all, but they are decked
I mentioned the girls here, but it isn't just the girls.
No, the boys as well.
You know, the boys, and by boys, we mean sort of late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
They're there with backpacks. The best way to describe it is if you imagine a baby carrier, and it's a backpack with built-on baby carrier for the teddies.
Yeah. I tell you what I do remember, which, you know, whether or not we were there on a particular holiday and school kids were free.
No, there were groups, weren't there?
There was very few older people, and I mean older in regards to grandmas, granddads, mums and dads. I did feel, although we were probably one of the few white folk there, because we felt like we stuck out like
not
a
white folk, European.
Well, European.
In Hong Kong, people were stopping Neil and asking for his photograph taken because
I'm tall.
Even I felt tall there.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Neil couldn't spend in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the
because
clothes
nothing
don't
fit him. Nothing fit him. And arms were, if it was long sleeved, too short.
Yeah.
He saw lots of things he liked, but he couldn't buy them.
Yeah. But what I was saying is it was a lot of young people.
Yes.
Felt like school trips everywhere. Boyfriends, girlfriends, couples, groups of girls, not many groups of lads. It just felt like we were there on a school trip.
And they let them go because they're so well behaved.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah.
They are so well behaved.
And polite. You know, when we were in queues, we were trying to communicate with people, weren't we? And they were looking at our T-shirts because we were wearing T-shirts from parks that
where
they've never been
yeah.
to. And we were using our translator on our phone to type in and convert it into their language so
and
that they could
them.
read it.
Yeah.
And then they would do the same on their devices. And we were communicating. We even communicated with a little girl on the monorail at one of the parks. Because her mum said that she was practicing
she's practicing
English.
And of all the two people, she wanted to learn English off us too. Wow. Yeah. But it was lovely. I mean, she came over and some of the words she was saying, and we were telling her she was speaking very good English. Yeah. However, I'm going to rein this in now, and I'm going to say, why did we choose the Hong Kong park first, Neil?
Well, could it be because they have a World of Frozen?
That's correct. We went for World of Frozen.
In my opinion, having now experienced all of the options, Hong Kong, for me, as a Frozen fan, has the best World of Frozen ever. And I'll tell you for why, okay?
You tell me for why, Neil.
Some of the World of Frozens that we've experienced don't necessarily feel like you are in a world.
We've only experienced two. There is only two World of Frozens.
There are only two World of Frozens, but there are experiences of Arendelle that you can get out there. Epcot has an experience in Norway.
Yeah, it's Norway.
Yeah.
With a ride.
Tokyo Disney Sea has Fantasy Springs.
Which we'll come on to, yeah.
Which has
we'll come on to that, yeah, yeah.
But the reason why I say that Hong Kong is the best is because it is cut off from the rest of the park.
Yes.
You walk under a bridge to get into Arendelle. And to get out of Arendelle, you either have to go through like a walkway through a forest that isn't any particular land. It's just a walkway between worlds, or you have to go underneath this bridge. And then it feels like you are leaving or entering.
And because of the position of Hong Kong Disneyland, Arendelle felt, like I said about the castle, it was out in the wild.
Yes.
Because obviously the trees were around it, they haven't staged them. It's real scenery
It's real
behind.
landscape, yeah.
Yeah, and there's real mountains. Yes, they're not snowy,
Yeah.
but it's the real mountains out there. But where Arendelle is, looks like you're in Arendelle.
Yeah, they have the lake, they have the castle, they have the shops and the houses and the town that you see in the film. But they have, not only do they have the Frozen Ever After ride, they have the Wandering Oaken sliding sleighs ride.
Yeah.
Lasts
Which
30
I'll talk
seconds.
about in a minute. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But they also have a show that you can go and see Anna and Elsa in that talks about the 4 elements.
Yes.
And you can go in a lot of the buildings. They've got shops that sell bakery goods. They've got a souvenir shop. They've got a restaurant that is one of the buildings that you can go in and eat. The gift shop from the ride, the entrance to the ride is a building. It's different to the other ones that we've experienced.
It's slightly bigger than Paris.
Yeah.
Paris's World of Frozen is stunning, but Hong Kong's, we did it right going there first. Although we maybe should have gone there last because it spoiled everywhere else, because it was, even I felt transported. It really...
Well, you joked about it in another podcast that when I walked into that, I couldn't help but walk around and want to touch things and just explore and get involved. And
Neil was in his best Disney franchise.
Oh, I was in my element.
He walked in there and he was transported.
I was in Frozen. I was in the film.
Yeah, and if you'd have seen him skipping around like he did, you'd have thought he actually was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was calling me.
Yeah. And even I, was carried away with it. It was stunning.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
And bearing in mind, the only experience that we'd had prior to that was Norway in Epcot.
Anyway, anything else on Frozen? Other than you could have spent a fortune.
Well, it was also where Anna called me a princess.
Well, I was waiting to
because
get to
the
that.
characters there, yes, that is different. The characters there just walk around.
Yes.
Anna and Elsa.
It was only Duffy and friends, really. You had to queue for. Mickey,
yeah.
Mickey was less than a 5-minute queue.
Yeah, but you still had to go into a building to meet him. But these guys were very much like Paris used to be, where the characters were just walking around freely with their guide that was looking after them.
Well, they came out because Queen Elsa was coming out just to check everybody was okay. Things wasn't frozen. That's what she said. She was just having a wander around.
The theme of the actual world of Frozen and Arendelle they were going through a festival.
Yes.
It was the snow festival of something. But, and that's why she was coming out and she was meeting and greeting people saying,
the gates was open and we was all in there.
Yeah.
So, and it did feel more like, even though at Paris it had like the square and everything and it had fountain and the lake, here you were submerged in it.
But
it was
an immersive.
Like
you were in a real town.
It was like an immersive experience, but you were like submerged into another world.
I mean, we could go on about this forever. Because they do it so well. These Imagineers guys and girls, they're just so on it. And that's what made it feel so immersive.
Yeah. And obviously, Toy Story is my franchise bit. I do feel the Slinky ride, it's the same as the Paris one.
Yeah.
It's like, we go on it, but it's like, it's so poor. It could do so much better. The one in Florida, it's like a coaster. It's a kid's coaster. What about us adults who like...
Well, you say it's a kid's coaster, but it's still fairly fast and it doesn't go upside down, obviously, but it's still a speedy ride.
I do think Toy Story, how massive it is, I think all the places we've been, other than the hotel, the Toy Story lands are quite... let down the rides. I mean, I love RC Race, and there's only the two, Hong Kong and Paris for now. But I love it. Neil, it turns his stomach. He's not.
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I like it, but it's one of those rides that gives me tummy tumble.
Right. So just before we leave Hong Kong and we go on to our next park, we've got to talk about the photo opportunities. And I'm not talking about the photo opportunities for us.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier on that they are mad for their teddy bears over there. They have photo opportunities set up throughout the park where you can put your teddy bears or your plushies or your key rings to take photos of them with
backgrounds.
Backdrops.
So now when you go to a park or something, it says photo opportunity here, and you stand there, you take a photo, and it's meant to be like of the best shot of the ride. Yeah. But you can't get in because they've actually built a plinth for your plushie to sit on.
Yeah.
And it's for the plushie.
Or it's a rock formation that's got a flat bit that you can put your teddies on,
Yeah.
or it's a wooden box. They're not designed for humans. You could stand in front of it and get a photo, but
then it wouldn't be the same, would it? Because it's like how they've designed it. Yeah. They set up the best spots for you to take photos of your plushie. And it was absolutely an experience. The snacks.
Oh, yeah, we've not even touched on them, have we?
Oh my God, they do snacks like you would not believe. And the shapes, it ain't just Mickey.
Nope.
It's mainly Duffy. But the snacks over there are so cheap. I mean, T-shirts out there in the Asian parks, you're talking like for a T-shirt, like £6.
Yeah.
You know, because I could not believe how cheap it was.
I went mad on merchandise because you could buy 3 or 4 T-shirts for the price of one over here.
But then, after Hong Kong, we came home and we said, right, we're now going to the next one. Where do we go? And we said we wanted to save Tokyo because Tokyo was meant to be the park.
Well, we'd done our research. We'd watched YouTube videos. We'd watched people ranking the parks, saying which was the best. And it usually was that Tokyo came out, for some reason, on the top.
Yeah.
So we decided that Tokyo, for us, would also be the last of the parks.
Now, Shanghai was the next one we went to. Now, we was there actually in 2016, and it was delayed opening.
Yep.
Because we was going to actually go to, we'd been on a cruise, and we was going to do the Shanghai on our day before we flew home. The strange thing was about this park was when you're on the motorway, the highway, whatever you want to call it, going towards the airport, and you pass Disneyland, you can see the castle.
Yeah. I don't know whether or not they have now changed that, whether they're going to do any landscaping to hide it. I don't know, but you could see it.
Well, so like I said, it opened in 2016. So it'd been open 8 years when we went. So I'm quite glad we waited because it's developed. And while the castle and everything's there, it's quite set out different. Yeah. It's not a main street as such, and there's a big square in front of the castle rather than at the beginning of Main Street. It's the opposite way around, and it's a huge area in front of it.
Huge viewing area.
Obviously for the fireworks and everything.
I mean, it's a huge castle.
Biggest castle out there. And it's the only castle with a couple of things. It's got a ride that goes underneath the castle.
Yep.
And it's also got a walkthrough where you can actually walk through and you end up going into Cinderella's chamber and you can sit on a throne, photo opportunity.
Yep.
And then you can walk round the castle. And I was shocked when we got up quite high and we went outside in like a courtyard high up and there was a tree, there were trees and you could walk around. But I think it's the only castle that is a full castle.
It's a real castle. The actual restaurant that you do the character meet and greets is in the castle.
Well, we did that as well.
Like Richard said, there's a walk around the castle that's an opportunity for a ride. There's the ride that goes underneath the castle. It's the Enchanted Storybook Castle, again, representing all princesses and heroines. It's not just Sleeping Beauties or Cinderellas. It is every princess.
Yeah, I've just remembered as well, it's got the maze in front of it. The maze is next to the ride, and the maze in front is Alice in Wonderland. Who played the Queen of Hearts? Who played the Queen of Hearts?
Helen Bonham Carter.
Yeah, and it just looks like her.
Well, yes.
It just looks like her.
But the film had been a thing before this park was developed. So.
Yes, but it's a figurine of the Queen of Hearts. It's like a statue. But oh my God, didn't it look like her?
Yeah.
It really did. However, the exclusive to Shanghai is... Zootopia.
Yeah.
And we was a bit horrified when we was going because we'd heard these tales of people going and queuing 5 hours to get in. So we thought, do we get a fast pass to get in? Do we get a fast pass? So we got a fast pass. We still had to queue.
Well, yeah, because they had marquees off site.
Yes.
In what would be the backlot area.
So how Neil was explaining Arendelle in Hong Kong, Zootopia is very much like Arendelle in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's its own world again.
It's a separate world, but to get into it, you have to turn left. And we thought, oh, this queue's not that bad. 1 minute, there were like 3 hangars.
Yeah.
And luckily, we had the fast pass. So we still had to queue, and we still had to queue like an hour with the fast pass. But the queue on the other,
was a wait.
So Zootopia, we went in, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there was even the building that was the gym, and you could see through the windows of the gym. It was only a sort of a facade front, but you could see the giraffe on the treadmill.
Yeah.
The hippo was on a bike or something.
Yeah. It was all...
We were just gobsmacked. And then I wanted one of the lollies,
popsicle.
A popsicle. I didn't care whether it were hot, cold, anything. I wanted a popsicle. They were all right. They weren't that tasty. It was just ice.
Yeah.
But we had to have one. And we went on the ride there.
Well, the Hot Pursuit is the ride in there. It is a fantastic walk round when you're in the queue because the detail that they've done again keeps you entertained as you're going round. They have animatronics, like offices that you go through, jails that you go through, and then you end up being on the ride.
Yeah, but we queued an hour. But I think if someone had said to me, it's 3 hours, I think I would have queued for it. And for me to say that's very rare. Because there was only one ride in there.
Well, yeah, because we didn't know what to expect. And with it being the only ride in there, it was the only thing to do. We'd queued an hour to get in there.
Yep.
So we were like, well, we may as well queue to get on the ride.
Which wasn't that long, actually. It was very strange because it was very much like if you'd gone to a sale. It was 3 out, 3 in.
Yeah.
And that's how it worked. They controlled that part of the park. I don't know if it's still like that now. It might be open now for everybody.
But because Fantasy Springs was like that at the very beginning.
Yes, but that's now open, isn't it? So, I mean, I'm not sure how it's working now, but it was so popular because it is massive in Asia.
Yeah.
Zootopia is absolutely huge. We went in and people just running around with cameras, posing outside the buildings, pretending to open doors. And I know they do this at other Disney parks, but until you go to an Asian park, you don't understand what we mean by "there was crazy."
They love a photo, though, don't they?
They do, but they are so polite as well. If you want to take a photo, they will move for you to take your photo so there's nobody else in it.
And they'll wait patiently.
Yeah, because they want you to do the same when they want their photo, which I respect. And I actually think hats off to them because I think that's great.
Yeah, so Shanghai has got some different rides in there as well.
It's got my favourite ride in there.
Favourite ride ever?
Right, I'm going to say it is my favourite Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. And I agree.
I mean, fans of Pirates of the Caribbean, I respect you. You know, you're fans of Pirate of the Caribbean.
And it's a classic.
Yes, it is. But this one, Battle of the Sunken Treasure, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't follow the same story as the other Pirates of the Caribbean does. This is a separate story in its own right. Very much based on the films that are now hugely popular. Whereas the old ones, as we've said previously, were based on the ride first rather than the film. But this is very much Johnny Depp playing Captain Jack and a lot of the other kind of baddies.
I'm going to tell you something, and this might just spoil it for you, but there is one bit where your ship's gone AWOL and you're in between two ships fighting.
Yeah.
And you're there floating in the water. It's like, it's real. It's like,
it's
it is
immersive.
Really, oh my God.
Immersive.
It was like, I got off and I said, we need to go on again. And the queue was so big. And I said, let's see how much fast pass is. Now, a little tip for you. Yeah? If you're going over to the Asian parks, do not fear buying a fast pass or Premier Access or whatever it is. The cheapest chips compared to the other parks. To get into the park, you're only talking like sort of, I think Hong Kong, we were shocked it cost us something like £30 odd. I think Shanghai was around about £30 to get in. But then the Premier Access, which a lot of people know it as Fast Pass, Premier Access, something like it were like £3. You know,
per ride.
Yes, it was so cheap. But we said, well, what are the queues going to be like? And we got on everything, and we only paid for one or two. But we only paid for one or two because we wanted to re-ride, and that was one. Well, I think we did 3 or 4 times, didn't we? I loved it.
Oh, we both loved it. It was
loved it. And I mean, I'm not a real fan of the others. We go on it because it's tradition, but the animatronics, it were like at one point we were like, are they real? Are they actors? We really didn't we?
Well, there's a mix between animatronics and video screen.
Yes. Well, it's very much like we were talking about in Disney, the Pixar show.
Yes.
That was, we couldn't tell which was screen and which was person or animatronic or whatever it was. I could talk about this with passion. I could really, because it was really...
There is another ride there that we usually do in the parks out of tradition, but we were blown away with the version in this particular park, which was Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my God.
Now, Winnie the Pooh ride in other parks is a children's ride.
Yes.
So it's very much you sit in your car with your children and it goes around slowly and tells the story of Winnie the Pooh. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was out of this world.
Yeah.
It was another ride where...
It was one we nearly didn't go on.
No, we didn't because we
wasn't going to go on it, but we'd done all the other rides and we thought, let's tick off the list to do everything. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what you again were sat in a carriage that was a honey pot, and it again is one of these new rides that
The glide.
they glide on the floor. They're not on a track. You're not on a rail, or you're not on a.
So it's got to be magnets that works.
Well, it's either that or they are pre-programmed by computer to go a certain way.
Yeah. But
they just feel so smooth. You went through into different rooms, but there was gale force wind.
We were just laughing. I remember
paper flying around at one point. It was just.
And there was one where there was a really big bang, and you screamed. I remember that on it. I don't know if it was a balloon that popped or something, but
no. But I love that feeling. I love that feeling of being made to jump. What am I like at Scarefests?
Scarefest.
I lose my voice when we go to something like Hallow Scream or a Scarefest because
the target him. That's what they do.
But I just love that feeling.
Yeah.
So whilst it makes me jump, I will laugh afterwards because it's fun. It's not scary.
If you go, you have got to ride the Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And the soaring I thought was really good there. It was soaring over China.
Well, yeah, the video that you watch in 3D is part of soaring. Wasn't flying over America as you would expect.
It was China. It did the Great Wall and everything.
Yeah.
They were like, obviously, soaring is a hit in all the parks.
It's a long queue for it.
It's always a hit. But this one, it seemed the ride was smoother, the technology, the picture was clearer. The chairs seemed to tilt more. Mm-hmm. When you was flying and stuff, it seemed to have a lot more movement to it. And it was a lot smoother and clearer. And it was amazing. So hands up, anyone who loves soaring, well, my hand's going up now, but we've never really bothered about it, have we?
No. But again, it's another ride that can give me motion sickness because it's 3D and it's a massive screen. So when it's like spinning and zooming forward and stuff, that's when I start to experience motion sickness.
Then we've got a ride that we rode here first. There's only 2 out of all the parks in the world, out of all the 12 parks. There's only 2, but the ride here was the first Tron.
Yeah.
Tron. How many?
Tron Light Cycle Power Run or something, I think.
Yes.
It's named different in the other park.
And how many of those videos did we make?
Oh, umpteen.
When you go on it, if you've got the app, the video's free as well. You get the app, you download the app. But when it sets off, we'd notice people's doing things on it, like Superman, things like that. So we was doing them, and we did one where it looked like when you looked at the video, it looked like we passed out. It was like laid on the bike.
It's
an instant takeoff, a launch one. Yeah.
And you are on these motorcycles, these light cycles that you shoot off, and you are in the game. I mean, I've never seen Tron. No, I've not even seen the original.
I've never seen Tron.
And they remade it. And
who cares? We wanted to go on that ride.
Yeah, but the story of the ride, we had no clue what a light cycle was.
No, and it starts off inside, and you do the launch and everything, and then you launch out into like a spaceship hangar where people are queuing, and you're flying over people's heads who are out there queuing to get on and walking around the park.
So you walk into this structure to actually queue to get on the ride. But then the ride itself goes out of the building and up and round and over back into the building when the ride actually starts.
Now, since we've done this, we've been lucky enough to actually ride the Tron in Magic Kingdom as well.
Yep.
And they are identical apart from one thing, the colour of the outside cabin. One's green, one's blue.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've changed the colour. I think Magic Kingdoms is blue. And that's the only difference. The queuing system's the same. The lockers, you're not allowed anything on. So you put your things in a locker as you're in the queue. And I was saying, well, how do we get it back out? Well, you open it from the other side.
Yeah, because you don't come out the same way, do you? You go out another way, but you actually go out on the other side of the locker. So you put it in one side, get it out the other.
And
clever.
When you're queuing, the lady in the demonstration tells you to put it in a locker. So we looked for a locker number, and we used a locker number each time, didn't we?
But we were just being a bit sad, really.
Yeah, but we looked for her locker number, and we wanted that locker number to actually use it for our locker. And each time it was empty, so we was lucky we used the same locker.
Yeah. So we're going to move on from this park soon.
No, we're not.
Well, I wanted to
I want to talk about, there's 2 other things I want to talk about.
Go on then, okay.
Yeah. This is the park with Rex's racer.
Okay, yeah. Toy Story.
And it's also got the jetpacks. It's the only park with the jetpacks where you sat side by side in the planes. It's jetpacks.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we went on the jetpacks. It freaked you out a little bit.
I'm going to have to think about that because I don't remember them.
Well, there is another thing that we haven't touched on. The day before we went in the park, we made a special trip.
But this is what I wanted to talk about before moving on.
Right, yes.
So this is another reason why Shanghai was so good to me, is because they love Donald Duck. I don't know if it's because ducks are considered to be lucky.
Yes, well, that's what they told us in the...
You know, but Donald Duck, when you are outside the park, they have a big lake and they have a massive inflatable Donald Duck that has a photo station set up in front of it, and you can go and have your photo taken with this.
It must be 2 or 3 stories high.
Oh, God, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. However, they also have Donald's Dine and Delights, which is a Donald Duck themed cafe / restaurant.
So we went up here on an evening just to do this because it's like a little shopping village.
It's like their Disney village.
Yes, yeah. But they have some really nice shops.
Yeah, they have the typical like World of Disney merchandise
shops. Yeah.
They had other clothes shops similar to what you'd find in Paris, pop vinyl shops because they're a bit mad for them over there.
Yeah.
And then there were particular brands that you
there
would
was Chinese
notice over
brands.
There. Yes.
There was Chinese brands.
So it was very much like a Disney Springs kind of thing.
But we didn't go there for that, did we?
No, we went specifically for Donald's Dine and Delights.
The worst thing I did was tell Neil there was a Donald's Dine and Delights when we was going, because obviously I did a lot of research on where we were going, what we were doing, and everything. Well, we went in. I want one of them. 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 The theming,
brilliant.
You've never seen anything like it.
Oh my God, I was in my element.
Yeah, it was Donald Duck World.
Yep.
You know, that's what I should have called it, Donald Duck World. And all the servers and everything was so pleased when they saw Neil.
I mean, I was dressed in my Donald Duck outfit. I had Donald Duck merchandise coming out my ears.
Right. He had Donald Duck trainers on, Donald Duck socks on, Donald Duck shorts on, Donald Duck t-shirt on,
Donald Duck
jumper with him.
Donald Duck bag.
Yeah, Donald Duck bag.
I knew that it was a Donald Duck themed place, so I went in my Donald
Duck. So we left Shanghai.
Looking like an idiot.
Yeah, and Neil was dressed like this. But obviously, once we got on the train going up to Disney, it was a different story because everybody were all going to wear the same.
Was this where the train was
the train
Disney themed?
And the train.
Mickey Mouse shaped windows.
But this train at Shanghai, when we got on it, was you wasn't sat like a normal train. You were sat facing each other. And every so often, they had like glass cabinets with like models in, and there was a Donald Duck model, there was a Mickey Mouse model.
I don't know if that's Tokyo, actually. They were the ones that had the glass cabinets, but I think this train had the Mickey Mouse shaped windows.
Right, and the things
yellow
you hang on Mickey Mouse ears.
It had those.
Right,
definitely.
So actually, we went here for the Zootopia, and we went for the Donald's Diner.
Yeah,
and it did not let us down at all.
No.
There wasn't much about the park I didn't enjoy.
The other thing as well, which was another thing that I particularly enjoyed, was the Castle Show. The song was written by Tom Fletcher.
Oh, yeah.
From McFly.
Yeah. And the Castle Show, this one did a pre-show. So while people was getting ready and waiting, because we was in a special area for the show, and we was going in, and we was thinking, oh my God, it started. And it was the pre-show of it. It was a warm-up.
Yeah, I think they had, I don't know if they had like 2 or 3 that they rotated.
Yes, while people was waiting. And it was so, like most of the other parks, people sit in the wait like 2 or 3 hours for the show. Mm-hmm. So what they did was, every so often, they put on a little mini show. And people seemed to know what it was and were singing along with it. They were different. Everything. Yes, they were different each time, but some people had come specially for those. And then the main show, the fireworks. I've said earlier, I love fireworks. The fireworks was amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And they didn't spare the cash on the firework. There was loads. Because that castle is huge. And the fireworks were, they were coming out of it from every direction going.
Yeah.
And then we actually thought, right, it's time for it. We're going to Tokyo. And we're going to Tokyo Disneyland. And that opened in 1983. So off we went to Tokyo. What an experience. I mean,
this was another holiday where we were visiting Tokyo and doing things around.
It was also
Tokyo.
Our birthdays, though.
And we planned to take a trip to Tokyo Disneyland and stay in one of the hotels and then go back to our base in Tokyo.
Well, what we actually did was we actually went to stay in one of the hotels for your birthday, and then you could wake up on your birthday in one of the Disneys.
Yep.
And then we went to Tokyo, and then we went back for my birthday and stayed in a different hotel.
Yes.
So we had to try different hotels. The thing when we were going to Tokyo was they had just opened Fantasy Springs. And to get into Fantasy Springs, you had to A, be in one of the hotels to get access, or 2, spend a fortune on an access pass thing, and it was expensive. For Neil's birthday, we stayed in the...
I can't remember. Was it Miracosta?
Miracosta. And our hotel, this amazed me, our hotel actually overlooked the park. So obviously we opened our curtains and
this was Miracosta. Yep.
But it was actually, we stayed in Miracosta and we had the package. And then the week before we flew out there, they did away with all this package and having to get into Fantasy Springs. So we didn't need the package. However, what they did when we got there, they gave us fast passes.
Yes, priority access pass.
But we found the passes for the rides. It was only rides in Fantasy Springs were second to none for us because those rides were worth the money.
Oh my God, yeah.
Worth the money. So when we went to Tokyo, obviously we was on about the train.
Well, we actually got the metro from Tokyo out to the Disneyland area.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, you get off the metro and then onto the kind of monorail that takes you from the main train station to the Disney hotels and the 2 Disney parks that are out there. And that's the train that had the gold statues in it.
And you had to pay.
Yes.
You have to pay for the monorail every trip you make. It's not like a ticket for the day. So even on a night time, everybody was running out of the park and queuing because if they're going back to their hotel, you had to pay to do it. So
yeah, but it's very much like the London Underground and an Oyster card.
Yeah, so we could just tap
we
a
had
phone.
we had it on our mobile phone, so you could scan your mobile phone at the barriers to get through to the monorail, and it would then deduct a certain amount of money for the trip that you'd made that day or the trips that you'd made that day, like an Oyster card.
So obviously we went up there. We was on the train, and I were like, "Oh my God, Neil, look!" And we looked, and the queues to get in to the park.
Yeah, they weren't.
I've never seen anything like it. And we were saying, well, it was Disney Sea where the queues were oh my God, they were like, the queues must have been at least a couple of hours to get in.
Yes.
Just to get into the park. And we were saying, well, thank God we're not doing Disney Sea today because we're doing Disney Sea tomorrow. But we're waking up in the hotel, so we get early access, and our hotel had its own entrance in.
Mm-hmm.
We could use that, and we could go in that way, and it saved us a lot of time. But it was like, wow, I have never seen so many people in such a small area all queuing to get in. There was thousands.
Like we've said before, they love a queue.
But the park hadn't even opened. It was like
it was early morning.
They actually said if you're going to Tokyo Sea, you need to be there 3 hours before.
You need to get there early.
3 hours before if you want to get in and you want to get on things. So first of all, though, we went to the Disneyland park.
Yep.
I was delighted when I found out one thing what it does. It still does the electric parade on a night.
Yes.
And it's the traditional electric parade, which you'd have seen if you've been to Magic Kingdom. They used to have it in Disneyland Paris. And it was massive, wasn't it? It was huge. It went on for a long time.
Yeah. All LED lights.
Yep.
Thousands and thousands of lights over these floats, and costumes were all lit up.
Yeah.
And it was the modern version of the Main Street Electrical Parade, but it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Another thing about Tokyo Disneyland is their Main Street is undercover.
Yes, I was going to say as we went in, it's quite strange because it's all under. It's like in a big greenhouse. The best way to describe it, and it is green as well. The metalwork on it's green and everything.
Yes,
and all the shops and everything are in there. And then in the centre, if I remember correctly, there's a big sort of photo opportunity again, because like we said, they all like the photo opportunities.
Yep.
And then it went off in like sort of a cross direction where you could go left, right, straight ahead, or the up behind you.
Then you come out of Main Street and you are in front of Cinderella's castle, because they wanted a replica of the Florida castle.
Yep.
Unlike Hong Kong, who wanted a replica of Sleeping Beauty's. Tokyo, when they opened Tokyo, they wanted Cinderella's castle. So again, blue and white. Potentially a tan colour as well.
Yeah, it was identical. And they had a couple of things there which I couldn't wait to see, especially one of them. I was so excited. I actually never really get emotional or anything on a ride or anything like that. I did on this. There's actually 2 castles in Tokyo, and there is Beauty and the Beast Castle.
Yeah.
And the ride, I wanted to go on this. Now, we had priority for this, didn't we, because of our pass?
Yep.
We could get on this. But we could only get on it once with the priority on this one, where the others in Fantasy Springs we could use quite a few times. But on this one, we could get on once with our hotel. So we went in. Now, we went a different way to everybody else. We went in the side entrance to the castle, must have been the servants' entrance. And then we got on the ride. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
That's the word I would use. I wouldn't say phenomenal. I wouldn't say, amazing. I would say it is beautiful. And like Richard said, you don't often get emotional on rides or parades or castle shows.
Yeah.
Unlike me, you'll be sobbing at the drop of a hat. This ride is just...
Oh, it's stunning. It's stunning.
But it's a combination
so well
because
done.
you start the ride walking.
Yep.
And then you have the experience of going through the door.
Yep.
Which is a thing in itself.
Yes.
Then you stand in front of the staircase and the balcony, and you have that experience.
Well, there's a show. It's a show,
it's
isn't
a pre-show.
Yeah.
And then you get onto the ride, and then you are away, swirling around
You
that dinner
become
table,
their guest.
being our guest.
But the part for me, I know where the beast changes is amazing, absolutely amazing when he changes, because you can't. It's magic. It's magic. But the part for me was the bit where we went in the big, it was like outside, and your cars floated from one bit to another, and the beast was over here and Belle was over here.
Yeah, well,
they were
it's the
singing
part,
to
it's
each
the
other.
part of the
And
film.
I'm swaying with it if you're watching.
Well,
yes.
yeah, but it's the ride follows the story of the film.
Yes.
And in the film, there is the part where Belle and Beast start to fall in love, and it's the winter scene where they're throwing snowballs and the Beast has all the birds landing on him, and Belle actually sees him for the first time as a gentle
Which is a reference
beast.
to Snow White.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, all the birds landing on everything. It's a reference to Snow White to show his inner beauty.
I did not know that.
It's to show his inner beauty.
Oh, every day's a school day. And it's the emotional part because you feel...
Oh my God, I was there. I wanted to get a snowball. I were there. I was in it, and like
I had a similar feeling in the ballroom part where
at the end.
It's the iconic Beast is wearing the blue outfit, she's in the yellow dress, and they are dancing around, because I must have looked like an idiot because it's a bright room and everyone else's cars are moving in and around you and you are dancing around this ballroom. I must have been sat there like that.
Is actually just looking up with his mouth wide open there in case you're just listening.
Sorry, I forget that people
if you're just
listen.
listening, yeah.
But I was there with gob open, smiling like an idiot, just watching these animatronics dancing around.
And I think I was trying to hide my tears.
Yes.
And when you was in the ballroom, it was the size of it, the sheer size of it. Yeah. And your cars are these cars, what we've talked about on a few rides, they're like a magnet or something, but you're dancing with another car. They dance round the floor. Yeah. They floor and they tip from side to side. Yeah. And it's just absolutely amazing. And I think if I had to rate rides over the world, this would be my top 3. Yeah.
But yeah, Tokyo Disneyland, they have rides that are different. You've got the Beauty and the Beast, which you only find over there.
Yeah.
You've got the
Baymax
Happy Ride.
Oh my God. You've never seen anything like it.
You can buy the CD soundtrack for this
the
ride.
Baymax Happy Ride. And when they're on, we was the only two who didn't know the dance. They all knew a dance, didn't they, to whatever tune came on.
I think there's like 4 or 5 different songs that you can get when you go on the ride. Each of these songs has a little dance routine that the ride attendants do whilst you are on the ride. And everyone knows it, apart from us two.
Yeah. The Baymax ride is very clever because it's one of those, again, it whips you round. You've got Baymax in front, you're like in a little sleigh or something behind him, sat behind him.
It's like the Alien Saucer ride in Florida.
And you're sat like in a little carriage and it whips you around, but it really whips you around. But they were all honest.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. But what was fun for us was watching the people who were surrounding the ride, not necessarily waiting to get on it. They was just there because the music was on and they was all dancing. Yeah. And it were like, wow. It was like something else. It really was like something else. And that was a really good one. And this one also had Pooh's Honey Hunt.
Yeah, but Pooh's Honey Hunt was the old style Pooh's ride. It wasn't the other one.
Yes, it was. But it was a little bit better though.
Newer. probably.
It was better.
Yeah.
It was
But you've got your classics, Big Thunder Mountains there.
but it was the animatronics, what we noticed was better.
Yes.
You know, in all the Asian parks, every Asian parks, the animatronics are out of this world. Disneyland Tokyo is a replica of Florida Magic Kingdom, but on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. But then day 2, and we saved this till last, didn't we? Disneyland was our first, and then your birthday, we went into Sea because we went to Frozen. So we did Tokyo Disneyland the first day, and then it was Neil's birthday the first time we went to Tokyo Sea.
Okay.
Because of a certain ride what were there.
Best Frozen ride ever.
Yeah. And I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to say, you know, out of all the Frozen rides we've been on, it might not be the best Disney theming round where the ride is.
Well, no, because it plays part of Fantasy Springs, which is the land, rather than it being Arendelle as such, World of Frozen.
But ride-wise...
Oh, Anna and Elsa's Frozen journey is the story of Frozen from start to finish.
Yes.
Amazing effects.
Now, this is Neil's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, there is one part in it, and you may have seen the videos on Instagram or TikTok where Elsa melts. No, it's not. Anna melts because Elsa freezes her. But the animatronics and the effects that I can't even speak.
Well, it's very much like when the Beast changes into the prince, into the prince. Anna is frozen. And she's frozen, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah, but it's almost as if she just goes...
Yes, it is. It's like she breathes,
The animatronic just goes... And it melts.
What you can't see is Neil, like, going from a frozen figure to coming to life. Yes, that's what he's doing.
My apologies. You want to get the full experience of this podcast, watch us, because we are very expressive. We are very animated as such. But my apologies for those who are listening. But the animatronic makes the movement of someone exhaling. And I can only describe that as, you know, if you go from someone being tense to someone being relaxed, the animatronic does that. And I don't know how it does it, but her cape just melts and falls.
So just in case you wondered, we have actually jumped
Neil's
to the back of the park. We jumped to the back of the park here, and the newest part of the park. When you enter the park, you enter what's all I can say is like a Venetian, Italian
park is huge.
Yes, huge, and it's so un-Disneyfied.
Yeah,
it does not look like Disney. It does not feel like Disney. However, this is the park where when you go in, the Fab Five are there to greet you.
As you walk through the gates.
So you walk in, I'll be honest with you, the first time we went in, there was there, and even Donald was there, and we thought, we hadn't time. We ran.
We will come back to you.
Run.
See you later.
We'll come back later, yeah. But it's great because as you're coming in, they've got all the characters there greeting you as you're coming in. Like when you go to any other park and there's the train station and Minnie's up on the top waving at you when you're leaving, these are here for when you come in. So as soon as you come in, they greet you. And they greet you because they're not the popular characters. So you've got Donald, you've got Daisy, you've got Mickey, you've got Minnie, you've got Goofy, and I think Pluto was there as well. And they was there for anyone to meet because it's Duffy the bear again. Oh, in all these parks over there, Duffy and friends.
And even more so in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yes, it was crazy.
Because there are more things you can do from a Duffy perspective.
Yeah. So while we're saying it's not Disneyfied, and I've just sort of then contradicted myself by saying the characters there to meet you, the characters are like an Italian... It is like there's gondola rides.
Yep.
When you go in, it's like you're in Venice at the start.
There's a massive lake.
Then,
and at the very back of the lake,
I was just going to say,
there is the
volcano
that erupts.
And then over to your left-hand side, there is actually the sea.
But there's also a massive cruise ship.
And there is a ship.
The ride itself
there
as well.
And down there is where you've got like...
It's almost like a pier kind of...
Yeah, it's like old world America. There is a place down there and...
Something point.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but it's like, it sounds like a fisherman village.
Yes.
And it looks very much like that. But the sea is beyond the wall. And they've got this like cruise ship sort of thing, this tanker built, separating the sea from Tokyo Disney Sea, if that makes sense. And then a big wall. And then they've got the train that goes along the wall. It's like a tram. Tower of Terror's down that end.
Huge Tower of Terror.
Yeah, that's
it's actually based on another story as well. It's not a Tower of Terror.
Yep.
It is Harrison Hightower.
Yes.
The story is based on a explorer coming across an idol, and this idol has special powers, like not evil powers, but mystical powers, and it disappears and starts causing some kind of chaos.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an amazing ride.
Yeah.
Theming again,
Brilliant.
once again, amazing. Each one of these little places we're describing to you is like a theme park in itself.
Yeah, each world or land is like its own theme park.
And then there's the bit with the volcano where you can walk through the volcano and everything, which we had to run through to get through to
steampunk.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's very
reminds you very much of
Mad Max,
Atlantis kind of.
Yeah, Mad Max's sort of thing. You know, as you're going through this park, there is no Disney theming as such.
Nope. No castle, no Tomorrowland.
I'd say the best part to describe it as, which is very, very little Disney, is Epcot.
Yes.
But Epcot would fit in one of their little lands because it's that big. Epcot's big, but this is massive.
Well, I would say that Epcot's probably the same size as the lake that you have in the first part of Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yes. This park was the one I was most excited to go to because obviously we'd heard so much about it. We didn't ever think we'd get there. But there was some of the most amazing things in there. So we're going to jump onto Fantasy Springs. It is, if you imagine Fantasyland, there's Frontierland, all the parks and everything like that. Fantasy Springs is its own like little world.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through, and where you go through to get to it, the theme in there, you walk through like a rock. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the rock, there's Anna, there's Elsa, there's Moana.
It's like Mount Rushmore with the faces of the presidents, but it is Disney characters. It's Peter Pan, it's Anna and Elsa, it's Rapunzel.
But you can miss them. It's not like Mount. It's not like Mount Rushmore.
Obvious.
It's not like it's carved in like that. It's like it's subtly done, and there's like waterfalls coming over it and stuff, and it's very, very clever.
Pretty.
Very clever.
Yeah.
So then you go into Fantasy Springs. We went straight to World of Arendelle, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And
past the roast beef popcorn stand, might I add.
Yeah, we've discussed this before.
Love it.
We was actually walking to one ride. I think we were going down towards Tower of Terror, actually. Oh, you want your photograph taken outside that shop?
Scrooge McDuck's.
Oh, shop. Yes, that's what it was. It was Scrooge's shop.
It was a replica of the shop that you see when you are playing the
game, and you want to dress like the game to have your photograph taken.
Yes,
that was it. Yeah. So we're walking down, and we're walking over this bridge and round the lake and everything, and this queue, and I'm saying to Neil, "Oh my God, what are all these people queuing for?" There was queuing for popcorn.
Yeah. Dreamlight Valley. Dreamlight Valley's the game.
Right.
Sorry.
That's why he wanted his photograph taken, because it was like Dreamlight Valley, wanted it in the square on his own.
Yeah.
Dirty bastard popcorn. What flavours did they have, Neil?
Oh, roast beef, garlic shrimp, curry. They had like fruit flavoured, caramel, white chocolate, all sorts of different flavours.
Dirty bastard popcorn. So
go back to Fantasy Springs, though, because there is a lot in this place to talk about.
Yes, so Fantasy Springs, if you're going to Tokyo Sea, you cannot miss this area. And it's right at the back. It's really at the back.
Am I right in thinking that if you stay in the Fantasy Springs Hotel, you can gain access to the park?
Yes, it's got a separate... Yeah,
Fantasy
and it's got its own gift shop, which is now open, because that's where... we was looking for the hats.
Yes.
That's where I told the story of the hats and everything, and the Peter Pan hats. So look, we've talked about Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey. Let's move on to Fairy Tinkerbell.
Yep.
We queued quite a while for this, even though we had access to get into it.
Yep.
It was shit.
But it's a kiddies ride. This ride was designed for little kids.
Yeah, and we was queuing with all the other adults to get on it.
Yeah.
Let's describe it as something in the UK people might know. It was like Alice in Wonderland at Blackpool Pleasure Beach with that sort of ride round.
Oh, yeah.
But it was on the flat. It was
Fairy
just on the flat.
Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies.
Yes.
Is the name of the ride. It's a very short ride.
Yep.
You go around Tinkerbell's house.
Yep.
And her friends'
garden,
houses.
yeah.
But you are essentially shrunk down to the size of Tinkerbell. And you are amongst daffodils, and you're amongst flowers and acorns, and
there's nothing really going off. It just goes round, doesn't it, like a little slow wild mouse, and takes you around.
There's no video. It's more
it's
models
outside,
and, like statues of Tinkerbell.
Yeah, would you do it again? We would, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
if we went
probably.
back, we bloody would. Yeah, even though we're rubbish, we'd do it again, because we're just dicks like that.
Yeah.
We have to go on it because it's there. But then we have to move on to another ride, which I thought the one in Paris was going to be a replica of, but it wasn't. We was walking and we could hear this singing. And Neil said it sounds like Rapunzel. And we're near the Rapunzel ride, so it must be there. And we looked up and there's an animatronic in the tower of Rapunzel letting down her hair and singing and everything. And it was like, wow, it wasn't even on the ride, it was just like coming into.
No, it actually is on the ride, but unlike the other parks, you can see it.
Yes, but it's
from
like
when
it's
you're
like,
walking around.
Yes, but it's on the walkway, isn't it?
Yes.
It's when you get on the ride, you can see it as well, but it's on the walkway.
Yeah.
And then what's the cafe called there? Something Duckling.
Ugly Duckling.
Oh,
Smuggly Duckling.
Smuggly. We went in the
Snuggly Duckling.
Went in the snuggly, muggly, ugly.
I think it's
fucking
called.
duckling.
No, it's called. I think it is the Snuggly Duckling.
I've lost patience with the fucking duckling now, right? So we went in because we wanted
no snuggling.
We wanted the drink from there, which were the Rapunzel drink. And
well, like we said about doing our research, we had done our research on Fantasy Springs
and snacks,
drinks, merchandise, whatever we needed to kind of experience and do whilst we were there. We'd got a list of things that we wanted to tick off, and this particular drink was on the list. It was like bobo tea.
Yeah, but was it the one with the stars in?
Yeah, it was like a milk. It was a milk drink.
Yeah. Oh, you love the milk tea over there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely love the milk tea. But we went on with the Rapunzel ride, and while it was very short, the animatronics in there was very good.
Yes.
It was a water ride, a boat ride.
Yeah.
It just went round. And
it's called Rapunzel's Lantern Festival.
I was going to say, it started off, and then it went into like where they were letting off all the lanterns.
Again, follows the story of the film.
Very much. When we was in the lantern bit, it reminded me of when we was on the Disney cruise and we went to Rapunzel's dinner thing.
Restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of reminded me of that. It was that sort of theming.
Yeah. So the ride itself is very short, but it is very much about this last room that you go into, because the scene where Rapunzel is in the boat with Flynn Rider.
Flynn.
Their boat is in the middle of the room. You sail round them, but there are these lanterns everywhere, and they look like they are floating in midair. You can't see how they are attached.
No.
There's hundreds of these lanterns floating up and down, and it's very much a wow moment. It is the climax of the ride.
Well, just all magic. It's all Disney magic, even though we're saying this isn't even themed Disney. It sounds like now we're saying it's really themed Disney, because then we went on the Peter Pan ride.
Well, Fantasy Springs, I think, is the most Disney-esque.
Yes, it is. Out of all of
land
yes.
in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yeah, Peter Pan. I need to talk about Peter Pan.
Talk about it. Go on.
Peter Pan, Neverland Adventure. Wow.
How many times did we ride it?
Wow.
How many times did we ride it?
I don't know.
I think it was about 7.
Yeah, and on my birthday, we're like, I want to do it again. I want to do it. It just blew me away.
This was another ride that we paid to ride again. I think it was literally, we got off it and we wanted to experience it again straight away. So we paid for a fast pass to then jump back on it, because it was just...
It starts off, you actually go into Neverland and the Lost Boys wake up.
Yeah.
And the Lost Boys are a little bit naughty and everything, and you're there watching the show, the pre-show, and it's there in front of you. If you've ever been on a Rock and Roll Roller Coaster where Aerosmith came forward, I know it's changed now, but we haven't been on it since it's changed. Or if you've been on the Web Slinger where Peter Parker comes out and he's talking to you.
You're recruited to be a Lost Boy.
Yes. I was going to say, it's very much like that. They're in front of you and you're an audience stood there, and the Lost Boys wake up, they recruit you, off you go, you get in the ship.
I'm just going to do one thing.
What? Yes. Yeah, bobbing.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing actions again.
Yeah, go on, explain what you're doing.
I am bobbing along, because this ride is so much fun.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the boat moves.
Yeah.
The way that you ride through this ride is just...
They need to change every Peter Pan ride to this.
No, I don't think they do. I think they need to add this ride to all the other parks out there, because, again, as you were saying, it would probably be in your top, if not your top ride. It rates high in my perspective as well.
If you're just listening, I'm like looking up to the sky here and sort of grinning to myself, thinking of it and how much I enjoyed it. And I really did enjoy it. It was like the Beauty and the Beast. It was like I was a lost boy.
You caught the feels.
I caught the feels. I was a lost boy, and it was really good. The animatronics, again, was so good. And there were, obviously, there were screens and animatronics. They're very clever with it. Very clever.
Concept as Battle of the Sunken Treasure.
Yeah, of pirates.
Some of it was video,
yeah,
and some of it was real live animatronics.
But it wasn't video like 3D. You didn't need the glasses. It was so well done. And like the Lost Boys are running around and stuff, and you're sort of following them.
Well, I believe what they do from a technical perspective is they project onto like an invisible screen.
Yes.
So you can actually see
like
through.
Phantom Manor.
Yeah, you can actually see through it
Yeah.
to like what's in the background, but you actually feel like the characters or the video, they are actually
With you.
floating in midair.
Yeah, it's
and,
part of your journey. You're on the journey with them.
Yeah.
And the theming again was just like it were mental. And I mean, I knew about these hats before I went, the Lost Boy hats, and I wanted them. And Neil just thought I was an idiot because he wanted all the Frozen merch and Disney merch. And then when he saw the hats, he wanted them because he thought they were amazing as well. And like I said, this is where the act of kindness came in when I couldn't find the hat, and the lady gave it to me. How many people would do that? You know, she was lovely. It was really lovely of her to do it. So
okay, we need to move on because there's so much more in this park other than Fantasy Spring that you don't find anywhere else.
did I say it was opened in 2001?
I don't think you did say it was open.
Tokyo Sea opened in 2001. And one of the original rides there was Aquatopia.
Which is being changed
It
soon?
is, which is a shame because it's one of the traditional rides. And like we went on it sort of later on in the evening. It was coming dark, and it's a little lake, and you're sat in like
It's a water ride.
But you're sat in like a little boat, 2-seater boat, and it whips you around. It's sort of like uncontrollable dodgem cars, you know, but they don't hit each other. It's sort of that sort of thing. You look like you're going to bang into someone, but then the water splashes you, and off it goes somewhere else.
There's
and it's
fountains that go over you.
And just amazing. I mean, we walked past it a couple of times and didn't know whether we were going to go on it, and we went on it, and I'm so glad we did. It's one of those rides like a Dumbo ride that you just have to do.
So the carousel?
Wow. I said to Neil, have you seen that over there? We didn't think it were real, did we? We thought it was like, right, if you imagine a carousel, obviously all the Disney parks have got carousels, but this, like I says, not themed like a Disney park. It was a 2-story carousel.
Double-decker carousel.
A double-decker carousel.
With 2 separate queues. You wanted the queue to go on the top, you queued for the top. You wanted to go on the bottom, you queued for the bottom.
It wasn't a longer queue for the top than what it was for the bottom because there was both the same. Everybody wanted to go either top or bottom. There wasn't bothered.
Yeah. Okay, so move on. What about the other traditional rides that are in there that have been there from day dot?
Indiana Jones.
Yep. Which is another story.
Well, yeah, it's a different story, but it's the Indiana Jones ride. It's not the same as the Paris one, but it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Toy Story Mania. That's the same as the one in America. Soaring. It was soaring across Tokyo. And it started, and it went. The queue for that was massive as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Do you remember we walked past it a few times and we were thinking we're not going to go on that, and then we went back later on at night. That was, I think, my birthday or just day after. Second time we went, and it wasn't that bad, so we managed to get on it because we were midweek both birthdays, so it was like it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, there's 2 rides that you've not mentioned, which I think are important to mention. There is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is
a roller coaster.
No, it's not. It's the submarine ride, that one.
It's not a roller coaster, it's a submarine ride.
What you're thinking of is Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
Yes, because they're both in the same area, aren't
Yes,
they?
they're both in the volcano part.
Oh,
one
my
you
God.
go down to get into the boat or the submarine to then go on an underwater ride. The other one is
Let's talk about that one first.
Riding through the volcano.
Yes. The submarine one, though, was the one where we had to squash in that little... It was
tiny.
2-seater thing where you had to get in and your knees were nearly around your neck.
Do not ride that ride if you were claustrophobic.
Yeah, your knees were really around your neck.
It's not a big ride.
No, it was very, very small. I mean, it was rubbish. We enjoyed it.
But again, I think it's one of those rides that, because it's been there since day dot, it's a traditional, you've got to ride it. But these both had massive queues.
Yes, I was going to say, Journey to the Centre of the Earth. I think the queue, the first time we walked past it, was over 3 hours.
Yeah, it was long.
And we were like, we're not going to queue for it. We're not going to queue for it. Ended up queuing for it, but we queued for about an hour or something. Been lucky.
We'd walked past it and noticed that the queue was short. So we were like, right, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it now.
Yeah. And it was good. It was a fast ride, and it was like through the volcano and everything. So, and it was a dark ride, a dark coaster, which obviously Neil loves, So,
when you said dark ride, it wasn't a pitch black ride where you couldn't see you were going, though. But
no, because there was fire and stuff.
Yeah, there was fire, there was effects, there was,
yeah,
a story to follow.
Let's move on to my birthday now.
Okay.
Neil treated me to go to see Duffy and Friends' Wonderful Friendship Show and Meal.
Yeah.
I'd got really into Duffy. I got really behind this old Duffy the Bear.
You embraced Duffy.
Neil didn't. Neil
liked
Lena Bell. No, you liked...
No, my favourite was gelato.
Gelato, yes.
Gelatoni, not gelato. Gelatoni, because he paints with gelato.
We went to the show. You went in. It was a massive hall. We had quite good seats, actually.
Yeah.
And
based on price, though. So you want to sit closer, you pay more money.
Yeah, and we didn't. We went to the next level, didn't we? Went to the middle, but it was not
Middle
much
level.
difference. In fact, I think we had a better seat than some of those at the front. And you sat on benches, and there's like 100 people on your table because they're massive tables, massive long like picnic benches.
Yeah.
And
Set meal.
you get your meal, and then Duffy and Friends come on. Oh my God. They do a 45-minute show. I couldn't understand a fucking word they said, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
We came out, both of us, raving about it, rushing to buy Duffy merch. Neil bought every keyring they had in a plushie. He bought them all, the full set.
Yeah, I did.
And still hadn't used them. Anyway, we were coming out and we're saying, I hadn't a clue what that was about, and I absolutely loved it. And Neil says, so did I.
I mean, from a visual perspective, you could tell
the story.
You could tell what the story was about. You couldn't understand the words because it was all
None
in
of it was in
Japanese,
English.
but we got the gist of it.
We did find some of the rides that you could go on it in Japanese or in English.
Yes.
Which was quite lucky, but there was no English showing of it. It was just like once a day, and it was Japanese, and Duffy and Friends were all Japanese. The story of Duffy, in case you didn't know, it was actually an Epcot bear. It was actually made for Mickey to go travelling by Minnie. Minnie made Mickey Duffy as a travel pal, and he was at Epcot. And he was at Epcot, and nobody embraced him, and nobody was interested in this bear. So they scrapped him from Epcot. And when the parks opened over in Asia, they embraced him, and he is king.
Well, he was originally just Duffy Bear.
Yeah.
Then they introduced Shelly Bear, who is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And now...
Because when Duffy went travelling with Mickey, Duffy needed a partner, a friend, because Mickey had Duffy, but Mickey had Minnie at home. So Duffy needed a partner. So Minnie made him...
Shelly Bear.
Shelly Bear.
Now... there's a whole troop of them. Yes. There is Duffy and Friends, because there is...
I think there's 9 of them.
If I can remember, there is Gelatoni, who is a cat. There is Olumel, who's a turtle. There is Shelly May, who is a rabbit. Cookie Ann, who is a dog, I think. There is Lena Bell.
I like Lena Bell.
Who is a fox.
Yeah, I like Lena Bell.
She's a detective fox because she has
she's got a magnifying glass. Yeah.
Cookie Ann Baker. One of them's a ballerina. I think that's the rabbit.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There is a whole
There's a lot of them. So if you do go and you are going to experience and jump into the Duffy experience, you need to go there for a meal. You won't understand the word they're saying, but I tell you something, it was great. Food was shit. Sure, we couldn't understand. It was like going to Britney Spears. It was brilliant. She doesn't dance, she doesn't sing, but it's a brilliant show. Yeah. Right. So I think that concludes our Disney journey. Obviously, we
didn't even talk about Mermaid Lagoon.
Oh my God. Let's jump back in. Let's jump back into Tokyo Sea. Mermaid Lagoon. We didn't ride anything in there.
No.
But we went in, and it's for the kids, and it's air conditioned, and it's like, is it underground?
It's all underground.
So it's underground. It's next to Peter Pan. It's near that area.
The outside of it is decorated like aerials.
Yeah, and there's a big clam.
Under the sea.
Yeah.
So it's all like shells. It's if you played Disney Dreamlight Valley and you end up unlocking Ariel as a character, her house that is there is what it looks like. There we go then,
yep.
Outside the land, but you go into it and you go underground, and it is massive. It's like an underground fairground. There are about 6 or 7 rides for the children.
There's jellyfish, there's there's all sorts of rides like that, underwater themed.
Yep.
But it's like psychedelic.
Yeah, it is.
It's like UV. Well, it is UV, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like, we just went in and we're like, wow. And it was massive. It was another world underground.
Yeah.
It was huge and it was packed. I mean, I'd say there was all kids' rides and it was air conditioned. It was all for kids. However, there was adults down there riding the rides. We really enjoyed walking around it and looking at it.
We were looking for bathrooms, to be honest, when we...
Who was looking for bathrooms?
Well, I was looking for the bathroom, and the nearest bathroom was these bathrooms that were in Mermaid Lagoon. So we walked into Mermaid Lagoon thinking that it was just like a toilet stop, and it was this huge world.
It was like, it sounds silly, but it was like magic. It was like magical. It was like...
It's magic.
It was on acid. You were down there and it was like, I imagine, I've never done anything that makes me trip, but I imagine it's like tripping. It were like, whoa.
Disney tripping.
Yeah, we were Disney tripping. That was very Disney themed as well. Like you say, Fantasy Springs is the Disney themed bit in there, isn't it? In Tokyo Sea.
Yeah.
So that is all of the parks covered off.
I think we've talked as much as we can about each individual park and what there is. There is loads more. We haven't touched up everything. We haven't covered everything. It would be an enormous task to do that.
We could have done an episode
On
on
each park, definitely.
But these are just our opinions. What would be great is for you guys to let us know what your favourite park is, what park you'd like to visit,
Yeah.
and your thoughts on the parks. Just put a comment in to say what we haven't covered off and what you think, if you've been, you missed it, Richard.
Yeah, if you have been to these parks,
any of them,
tell us if we've missed anything, because we spent as much time as we could in these parks. We could have missed something.
We've talked about what we're passionate about.
Yes.
Everybody has their own Disney journey.
Yep.
And every Disney adult has their own Disney thing.
Well, that quite nicely leads us on to what I think we should do next. Now that we've talked about all the parks, now that we've talked about rides, now we've talked about castles, I think what we should do as a pair is, between us, we should rank the parks that we visited our favourite order.
And
I think
that's our personal one.
Personal, yeah. So
right,
great. What we feel is number one, right down to
no arguing.
12. No arguing, because there are opinions.
Because we are new of that.
What we can also do is rank the castles, because we've seen, luckily, all 6 castles.
Well, if we're going to do it in a short special, obviously, it's in the 6 castles. We're going to rate the 12 parks.
Yeah.
Can we pick one ride from each park what we liked?
Yeah, we can do.
So we'll say the park, we'll say the ride, done. We don't go into any detail of it.
No.
Just to make it short and sweet.
Yeah.
That's our ride.
Okay. Do you think we can do it short and sweet?
We can never do anything short and sweet. So, this is Richard Wilns.
I'm Neil Wilns.
And we're short and sweet, so we'll see you later.
No, you see, you did it again. You did so well at the beginning. No, you don't need to do it again.
Right. I'm Richard Wilns.
I'm Neil Wilns.
And thank you for listening to Wilns Wear.
Yes. We'll see you later.
I got it right. Beginning and ending.
You're learning, babe.
Bye.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's just said that. On that note, we'll
cover
that off in another one.
Oh, dear.
Bye.